Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas, out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we have on with me the founder of Black College Experience, the one and only Diva, Kels. What's going on, Kels?
It's been a crazy weekend in football, a lot of great action in all of our conferences in sports. But let's go ahead and hop right into it because I know you said the commissioner's on the phone. So, hey, we don't want to delay his time because I know he has a schedule he has to keep to.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the esteemed honor and pleasure to have on with us tonight the brand new commissioner of the SWAC, a conference that I have grown up watching ever since I can remember, Dr. Charles McClelland. How you doing,
sir? Appreciate both of you. Doing well. Appreciate you having me on your show.
Yes, indeed. And we happen to be from the same hometown, and we graduated from the same high school.
Absolutely. Hey, there's not too many people that can say that, right?
Exactly. I mean, not too many people can boast that the SWAC commissioner graduated from their high school and is from their hometown.
Yeah, Callaway High School, Jackson, Mississippi. It's been a long time, but near and dear to my heart. Had opportunity to play basketball. Wasn't that good. Actually, was on the state championship team that lost against Chris Jackson. We had Darren Chancellor and Joe Courtney that went to Mississippi State, I believe. And I never forget. You know, Joe, I was sitting on the bench watching Chris Jackson beat us pretty good. We were up. I mean, they were up 11 pretty much the whole game. And right when it was just about to be over with, we're in the Coliseum. Chris Jackson got a steal. You knew he was going to dunk because he could jump out of the gym. I guess Chris Jackson, his name now is Mahmoud Raouf. I don't want to be disrespectful to him. Bounced the ball off the floor, hit the backboard, caught it, and dunked it backwards for an exclamation point. So
yes, indeed.
That's my Callaway High School. Bad memory.
Yes, indeed. And me being in Baton Rouge, you know, Chris Jackson or Mahmoud Abdul Raouf is still a legend here in Baton Rouge. Hopefully they will put him a statue on campus one day.
Well, he should be.
I'm going to be a gentleman and let Kels start it off. Ladies first.
Okay. So I don't know if you want me to call you Commissioner McClelland or Dr. McClelland because I want to be in the right order as to how I address you. I just want to be in the right order.
It doesn't matter, whichever makes you most comfortable.
Okay, so we're going to go with Dr. McClelland. I feel like that's the most important. We're going to go with that. Okay, so coming in, you become the sixth SWAC commissioner since the conference began in 1920. Take us back to when you were the athletic director at Prairie View and give us some highlights or some of the biggest highlights of your career while at Prairie View.
Well, I appreciate that. And when you say the sixth commissioner, that's mind-blowing in itself. A conference that was around since 1920, and, you know, you divide 100 by 6. I guess ultimately by 5, right? So you're talking, you know, some history and tradition there, and I'm a part of it, so very humbling. But a lot of people might not know my story at Prairie View, but I took over Prairie View back in 2001. We were about 3-88 in football, so I took over Prairie View during the era where Prairie View was not that great.
Wow.
They had increased scholarships to the minimum. They went from 0 to like 13 or 14. So they had won 3 or 4 games from 1998 to 2001. But I took over a program that had the lowest budget in the nation. I took over a program that ESPN ranked the worst athletics program ever, not at that time, but ever in collegiate athletics. The baseball team had not ever had a winning season. The football team had only one non-losing season. That was in 1976, and they retired that season. So 1964 was the last time that the football team had won a championship. The basketball team had won a tournament championship, but had never won a regular season. The women's basketball team had never won a championship. The tennis team had never won a championship. Had a pretty decent track team. The golf team were pretty good in the past. They had not won since the late 60s, early 70s. So I took over a program that was not the greatest. If you fast forward to 2008, when I left, we had won 17 different championships. We had hired Cynthia Cooper for women's basketball, so we won the first ever women's basketball championship and 2 or 3 after that while I was there. Baseball team, the year I took over, had 4 perfect games thrown on it. I think 4 years later, we won a baseball championship, won a tennis championship, won multiple track championships. And ultimately raised the status of that program and raised where the institution went from minimal scholarships, for example, 13 in football, 2 in basketball, to full scholarships across the board. We were successful in raising money to get the coaches out of the classroom to be full-time coaches, and kind of started the process of building facilities. Ultimately, when I left, they did a much better job than I did, because Purview now has some of the greatest facilities in the nation, not just in FCS football. And the year after I left, Purview won its first football championship since 1964. So I left in May, and that following football season, that December, they won a championship. So, and Purview has been able to sustain. So a lot of good times at Purview. We made a lot of positive progress at Purview, and just excited to be a part of something, because nobody else will ever have the opportunity to do what we had the opportunity to do, take one of the nation's worst programs and turn it around. Nobody, in my opinion, will never lose 80 straight football games again in a row.
That says a lot. Well, the 3 to 88 got me. So that's a lot of stuff. So I know if you're talking about how you turned around a program with Prairie View, so then I know you were very excited last week at the MEAC SWAC Challenge when Prairie View won.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a Prairie View team where, we got ridiculed. I remember going to Southern one year. Southern beat us 66-0, and as we were leaving, they got mad at us and threw bottles and all kind of stuff at us. And I couldn't figure out why. We got whooped 66-0. I never forget, went to Alabama A&M, and we literally got ridiculed by people because we were associated with Prairie View, because of the football team. And it, being a graduate of Prairie View, got opportunity to lead my institution at that particular time. It was personal to me. Fast forward to SWAC MEAC Challenge, national television, being the commissioner. That was my first day on the job when that game occurred, and to go out there and win that football game, that's going to go in my trophy case. That's one to remember. One to remember.
Absolutely. And it's so funny that you. It's funny that you say that, because I'm a Southern University graduate, and I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm from Huntsville. So Alabama A&M is our second school. I have a twin sister that graduated from A&M. So A&M is that's my second tie. That's so funny.
Right.
Go ahead, Derek.
Well, I was going to say, with him being from Jackson, didn't go to Jackson State, went to Prairie View. We built Prairie View. I mean, I went to Valley. We were expecting Prairie View to be our win. You changed that. You stopped us from getting that win.
Well, Valley history is a little bit different than Prairie View's from the standpoint. Valley was extremely, extremely relevant in the 80s and the early 90s. I mean, you had Jerry Rice and Willie Satellite Totten, and under Gunslinger Archie Cooley, you had some prominent programs. Prairie View was the whooping stick. Now, in my opinion, if anybody made a case to be kicked out of the SWAC, it was Prairie View A&M University. There was no commitment at all. And we was not only Valley's whooping child, we were everybody.
Exactly.
Child. Another story.
You came, stop that.
Well, it took some time, but it came down to commitment. We had to go and fundraise. We had to do a lot of things to ensure that we made sure we were doing things correctly. And it was personal to me at the particular time because I didn't have the experience to be athletics director. Prairie View took a chance on me. Then President Dr. Charles A. Hines, he's deceased now, he saw something in me that I really didn't see in myself. And he gave me an opportunity that I really did not deserve. And the one thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I made him proud. I wanted to make sure that I did not embarrass him for giving me that job. So failure was not an option. And that included making sure that we did not be the whooping boy of Mississippi Valley State.
Well, y'all stopped being the whooping boy because of everybody. Because I'm trying to remember, you all had the losing streak. No one, when y'all started to build that program, you know, people were afraid. We don't want to be the first team to lose to Prairie View.
Right, that is correct. That's right.
And
everybody was like, if you recall, we beat Alcorn. That was our first SWAC win. The first win was Langston, and then we continued the streak about the first SWAC win, and we happened to beat Alcorn at Prairie View. But I was not athletics director.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I came in about 3 years after that. Again, we had won. We had beat Langston. We beat Alcorn, and I think we had beat another NAIA team. But then I inherited the program. But still, we were not good at all. We were still. Melvin Spears was head coach at Grambling State, and we were in the Cotton Bowl. And actually, the two teams got into a fight that year, very embarrassing to the institution. Melvin Spears was up 59-0 with about 10 seconds to go on the clock, and he went on and punched it in to go up. I think it was 59-0, and he punched it in to make it 65-0. 2 seconds on the clock. He went for the 2-point conversion, got the 2-point conversion, and then did an onside kick with 2 seconds to go. That was the level of respect that you had. So there was a lot to change, and all of that was personal. We made the change, and now you can see, hey, Prairie View's rolling.
Definitely. I mean, you all are. When you get the Grambling Monkey outfit back this year, which I think, I know it's pretty early to say that, you know. Prairie View's rolling.
Well, right
they
now,
have the one you talk of that running back. I mean, he's amazing.
Well, you know, right now being the commissioner, I have all 10 institutions, so that's fun in it.
Yeah.
Being able to claim all 10, something that I feel very, very dear about. I don't know if you heard, but this kind of got out. I said this really as a sincere statement, and a lot of people picked it up and it resonated. You know, I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. I went to all of the Jackson State games. My mother and father went to Alcorn State University. They got married, so if it wasn't for Alcorn State University, I wouldn't be born. Grew up at Jackson State, grew up on Jackson State campus, grew up on Mississippi Valley State campus. I attended Prairie View University. My sister attended Southern University. My two boys go to Texas Southern University, and my wife goes to Grambling State. So
that's a lot there.
Yeah, 6 of the 10 institutions, I have direct family members that either attended or currently are at. And I have relationships with the other 4. I didn't put it out because I could have said, you know, I have a cousin that works at Pine Bluff. I have family members at Alabama A&M. A lot of the Callaway classmates went to Alabama State. I have a lot of contacts, but when you talk about 6 of my immediate family members having SWAC ties, you know, I think that was one of the things that kind of resonated. I am SWAC. If it wasn't for SWAC, I wouldn't be here. So making sure that SWAC is successful is 100% my goal and 100% my passion.
And one thing I wanted to ask you.
You can hear it. You can hear it in the conversation. You can hear it.
Right. Well, with you being from Jackson and being a SWAC lifer, like myself, I grew up in Jackson. My sister went to Jackson State. My auntie went to Valley. I had a brother that went to Alcorn. I ended up going to Valley. I was on track to go to Jackson State, but God sent me to Valley. That's where He felt I needed to be. How did you end up at Prairie View? seeing from Jackson?
You know,
on up to Jackson State?
that's a good question. I really wanted to experience something different. I wanted to get out of Jackson, but I knew that I had to go to a SWAC school. Prairie View at the time, my uncle was working there. So I went on a visit to Prairie View, and he kind of showed me around. So Prairie View was high on my list. Now, I really wanted to go to Southern University, but my sister went to Southern, and I did not want to be my sister's little brother. She was very popular. She was Miss Senior, and I knew exactly who I was going to be. That was going to be Carlisa's little brother, so I couldn't go to Southern. And I wanted to get out of Mississippi, so that excluded Jackson, Alcorn, and Mississippi Valley. And my father actually got his master's from Jackson State. So, you know, not to go to Alcorn and Jackson, they were kind of upset with me. I didn't know a whole lot about Texas Southern, but I knew that Houston was a little faster than what I wanted to be a part of. So I kind of settled on Prairie View. So it really was just a contact with my uncle, wanting to get out of Mississippi to be able to experience something different. And I settled on Prairie View.
Yes, indeed. And it seems to have worked out great for you.
Yeah, who would have thought that this, you know, young kid from Jackson, Mississippi, Callaway High School, going to Prairie View A&M University with the worst athletics program in the nation that should have been kicked out of the Southwestern Athletic Conference would end up being commissioner. You know, that's a heck of a story.
And you get a chance to continue growing every school's athletic now. So not only were you responsible for Texas Southern and Prairie View, we all now depend on you to lead us into the future of the SWAC. And that is one thing I know that a lot of people, a lot of alumni are curious about your vision for the SWAC.
Yeah, well, we're going to go out and get this thing done. The Southwestern Athletic Conference, you know, is built on history and tradition. As we talked about, you know, 5 commissioners before me, almost 40 Hall of Famers. We have several All-Stars, NBA All-Stars, MLB All-Stars, track legends, gold medalists. When you talk about perennial athletes in this nation from a collegiate and pro level, you have to start with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and you're going to have to stop with the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I mean, we are the college conference. Now, in the last 15 or 20 years, there's a lot of things that have transpired in the collegiate world of athletics that have kind of made that shift. But I still think that we are the perennial athletic conference. I mean, we're the leading conference in attendance in football the last 32 to 33 years. When you look at Magic City Classic, 65,000 people in the stands. I mean, that's a SEC type football game. Our product, there are no other FBS institutions that can match what we can match. What we're going to do is capitalize on that. We're going to go out and get additional television. We're going to go out and we're going to get additional sponsors. We're going to go out and we're going to get the Jerry Rices back to the Southwestern Athletic Conference and let them help promote and brand the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We're going to build that brand. We're going to build the opportunity for us to generate more resources where we can give it back to our member institutions to be able to build the things that they need to build upon. We're going to make sure that academics is first and foremost, starting with the conference office to give the schools the resources that they need to ensure that we can stay out of academic trouble. So the vision is moving this athletics program forward where we are a player in intercollegiate athletics, where we're on television, where we're academically strong, and we're generating revenue sponsorships through TV. And we're going to do it through digital platforms. We're going to do it through social media. We're going to do it through the normal means of communication via television, radio. So we're going to touch it all. And I think we're going to be very, very progressive. We're going to take the millennial population. We're going to utilize them. My kids tell me that I'm old, but I don't think I'm that old. I'm still technologically savvy, but at the same time, I can touch bases with a lot of those players from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s because of my ability to be athletic director at Prairie View and Texas Southern. I've been able to touch all of those individuals, and quite a few of them supported me to be commissioner. So we're going to touch all areas. I think people, I've heard some of that SWAC is in trouble, SWAC is dying. I'm here to let you know SWAC is not in trouble and SWAC is not dying. We're just as strong as we've been in the past. We got a lot of work to do. I'm not saying that we don't have work to do, but we're going to get in. We're going to get it done. And the only thing I can tell everybody that's listening, get ready, get your popcorn together and get ready to come to some games. We're going to be an exciting conference. We're going to be an innovative conference. We're going to resolve a lot of the issues that we've had in the past, and we're going to have fun with this thing.
That is great. That's great to hear. And you kind of answered one question, because I went on my social media page and I asked some of the fans to give me some questions to ask you. And one person wanted to know, what were your plans for the SWAC digital network? You kind of answered that with your vision, because,
well, if I could interrupt you, go ahead. I'm sorry. If I could interrupt you, the SWAC digital network is a little different than what I was addressing, and I would like to address the SWAC digital network because I think that's critically important. I want to move from a internet platform to a television platform. The internet platform really was a step in the process. We kind of went through this at Texas Southern University, where we started with the YouTube games, and then we were able to get regional television network. I've been already working with ESPN to build the profile of the games. We were late in getting out the ESPN schedule. Part of that was my fault, because we were able to add 4 additional games to that platform. And they were actually 4 prime games. So they'll be on ESPN3, but what we wanted to do was to take that same platform where we delivered high definition content to ESPN and spend the money from the digital network, where it's just internet, to where we could get that national profile, because we have to tie in sponsors. You know, a lot of people get caught up into, and it's important how many people come to the game, but what's more important is how many people that are watching, because that's what the sponsors are into. So we're going to build the television platform. We're still going to use the SWAC digital network, but in my eyes, instead of highlighting a prime game, Jackson State versus Alcorn football on the SWAC digital network, I think that is deserving of television. And now we can use SWAC digital network to, let's say, do the first and second rounds of the basketball tournament, do the championship game, the championship of track, you know, the cross country championship, to deliver the content to the people of championships and games that they really want to see that we normally haven't been able to deliver, and using television to give us those prime games that's normally on the SWAC digital network, where we can generate sponsorship and dollars to be able to put back into the institution.
Wow. I'm sold. Kales?
Okay. So, Commissioner, let me ask you this, because this was another thing that a lot of people have been asking. Of course, I'm here in Atlanta, so everywhere that I go, I'm going to have to commute anyway. I don't have a problem with commuting to cover any HBCU game. The question that we have received, and a lot of people are asking about, and I guess you can give your input or your insight on this, the SWAC championship game being moved from Houston to Birmingham. A lot of people are up in arms about that whole situation. What is your insight or your take on that whole move from Houston, Texas to Birmingham for the SWAC championship game?
Well, I think it was an excellent move, only because if it wasn't in Birmingham, there was not going to be a SWAC championship game. So if we had to play it in Anchorage, Alaska on December 25th, I would have been all for it, because I'm about playing the championship game. And also, we have a 7-game format, which means that all teams don't play each other. And I am a prime believer that whoever goes to the championship needs to be decided on the field, not on a coin flip or in a back room. So the Birmingham move was a 1-year move, and it was a 1-year move because the Council of Presidents and Chancellors and Athletic Directors had voted to do away with the game because of some financial issues. Once we got in and kind of re-looked at it, the athletic directors brought a recommendation to the Council of Presidents and Chancellors to say, hey, let's bring that game back, but let's work on doing some different things. And that's ultimately what happened. So Birmingham got it for 1 year. My responsibility and my challenge is to go in, and I've been instructed by the Council of Presidents to put an RFP out and find a place for the championship. Now, in my opinion, the one thing that we've done, not just with football championship, but all championships, we've bounced around all over the southeastern and southwestern United States. We have to find a permanent place for our championships. We have to invest in that place. That city has to invest in us. And we have to put on and promote a game. We can't move it around, because as soon as we build up momentum in that city, then we're up and we're moving somewhere else. So it's going to be my responsibility to go out, put these RFPs out, and ensure that we have proper place. But as of this year, I'm 100% for it, because if it wasn't in Birmingham, we were not going to have a championship game altogether. So I would much rather have it than not have it at all.
Being that you said you're going to put these RP out, have any cities contacted you about bidding on the SWAC championships? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, not at this time. Remember, I've only been on the job 4 days. Monday was a holiday,
Yes,
so hadn't been there long enough to get that far. But it's definitely high on the agenda, simply because we don't want to wait till the last minute to, do anything, especially make sure that we have the proper city and the proper towns for our SWAC championship games. But there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that needs to go on. The championship game is back. We're going to have to build and promote it, but there's still some decisions that we're going to have to make, and we'll do those in sufficient fashion. But, we haven't contacted anybody. No one has contacted us, only because I just got there. And any contact and any decisions previous to me getting there, I'm very limited about that anyway.
So the thing is, the SWAC is returning home back to Birmingham. So it's a familiar area for SWAC fans who went to the SWAC championship games in the past.
Yes, that is correct. And Birmingham hosted the SWAC championship, actually the first championship. And I don't want to be wrong about the number of years, but it was 6-7 years, and then it moved to Houston. So Birmingham is very familiar with the championship game. And I think some of the challenges that I've heard with Birmingham are fixable challenges, other than the fact, one of the biggest things that the weather was always playing a part in the championship game. And I think that was one of the main catalysts of the decision to go to Houston, so the weather would not be a factor. But we're going to look at all of that. We're going to make the best decision, and we want to make sure that we put together a championship for all of our student athletes. We've taken away championship banquets. I want to bring the banquets back for the student athletes. I want to highlight the student athletes. Their SWAC championship experience needs to be as great as an NCAA experience, because the majority, over 90% of them, will not even get opportunity to experience an NCAA championship. So the championship game has to be more than just a game. We have to put ancillary events around it. I had a meeting last week about that, but it's going to take time to build. So the city is going to have to embrace it wherever it is, Birmingham or anywhere else. The city is going to have to embrace it. And the SWAC is going to have to do a lot more to bring information, activities, people to the table. And we're getting ready to celebrate our 100-year anniversary in 2020. We're talking about a Hall of Fame banquet. Just imagine if we could get the Doug Williams and the Jerry Rices and the Robert Brazils. I mean, you could go on and on. Renus Williams.
On and on.
And hard work at Alabama A&M, the Michael Strahan at TSU, the Kenny Houston at Prairie. I mean, I could go on and on and on. If you could get just 1/10 of all of those people back, you got a room full of celebrities and all-stars. And that's what we're talking about, bringing that history and tradition back. And that's just from the football arena. I had an opportunity to go to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony with Cynthia Cooper. She invited me up. I hired her at Prairie View and ultimately at Texas Southern. And she was fortunate enough, one, to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, but she got inducted with the 1992 Dream Team. So I'm in the room with Jordan. I'm on the bus with Scottie Pippen. I'm seeing that entire Dream Team, and the person that I walked up to and talked to that was there, that was one of my idols, was Willis Reed. Hey, I didn't ask anybody for the autograph, but I asked Willis Reed for his autograph because, I knew who that was. I mean, I know who Jordan is, but this is Willis Reed, right? Because different people have different connections with different eras. I mean, so we could go on and on and on about names. We're going to bring all of those people back. And we're going to brand this conference, because when we're recruiting against a Southland school or even a lower level FBS school, I think if they look and see that you have just as good of a chance to go pro at these schools, but you have an even greater chance to graduate and get a good job from these SWAC schools, so we're going to take care of you. That's what we're going to have to sell, and who best to push that message than the conference and the people that have already been there. So you're going to see some branding, and you're going to see us using our assets and resources to go out there and show everybody what the Southwestern Athletic Conference is all about.
I think that's great. That's wonderful. I mean, because we do have all those legends who blaze the trail. Who better than to come back and help blaze the trail again for the future of the SWAC?
Absolutely.
Okay. I have my line brother on the phone, Patrick Perry. Patrick, you want to ask the commissioner a question?
Oh, he answered the question. I mean, he already answered the question I was going to ask, dealing with the SDN and using it, building it up and then using it to get TV as far as TV is concerned. But he already answered it, so.
All right. Well, I have another question.
And Commissioner, let me ask you, you talk about the different things that you're looking forward to do. Let me ask you, are there areas of weaknesses or strengths that you see that this conference could capitalize on? We talk about the television, we talk about the social media. What other areas in this conference do you see that we could actually capitalize on, or that actually needs more work?
Well, again, I'm 4 days in, and there's a lot of things that I've seen that we need a lot of work on. Too many for us to discuss on this interview. But I would tell you the common denominator of all of that comes down to resources. And I think the Southwestern Athletic Conference has to build its financial position in order for us to be able to be strong and solid. If we have enough resources, a lot of the issues that we have from a credibility standpoint, and that comes, when you look at it and you have 10-member institutions and, you have 4 of them on any given year that are ineligible for championships, that's a credibility issue. But it's not because our student athletes are not graduating. It's because we don't have enough academic resources in the institution to be able to do all of the things that the NCAA is talking about. And I don't want to get too in-depth in academics, but I'll give you an example, something that we went through at Texas Southern University. We had graduated a student. That student had a 3.6 grade point average. They had graduated in business. But at Texas Southern University, when they ask you on your application when you're in high school, what do you want to be? And you check, I want to be a lawyer. Then when you enroll at Texas Southern University, they have you in pre-law. I'm just throwing out an example. So if that student or the athletic department doesn't catch it and change your major from pre-law to business, although you graduated in business, although you had a 3.6, although you met all of the other the completion criteria, the NCAA said you were ineligible because you checked the box as a high school freshman that says pre-law and you took all business classes. So I'm supposed to be judging you on law, not on business. So this person actually, this is a real case. This person actually graduated with honors, but we had to go take a violation and deem him ineligible in all of the games he played in ineligible because we checked the wrong box, or he checked the wrong box and we did not catch it. Those are the type of things that are getting our institutions in trouble. And again, it comes back to resources. That's just one example. I could go through, again, several other examples, but the major things that we have to concentrate on is rebuilding our brand, rebuilding our credibility, increasing our overall level of competitiveness. We can no longer continue to be the last ranked conference in competitiveness of all Division I athletic conferences, and we have some plans to do that. We have to continue to increase our brand via television. I think that we've done a good job in doing that, and we want to try to capitalize on top of that. And we want to continue to bring in more sponsorships. Once you do that, then you can start, paying the officials more so you can retain the officials and stop being a training ground for officials. You can get more of your social media footprint out. You can go on and on and on. So again, I don't think we have enough time in this interview for me to go through the whole gamut, but it comes down to if we do what we're supposed to do in generating revenue, and that's done through television, via getting sponsors, I think you're going to see a lot of improvement from the Southwestern Athletic Conference very fast.
Else?
Oh, no, that's all I had. That's all I had.
Okay. Well, I have one question, and it's going to involve what you talked about as far as improving the brand. Because we know we have the Celebration Bowl, and we've seen how that has captured the minds and attention of SWAC fans and MEAC fans. Over the summer before the football season started, there was an article about an official from an Ivy League school saying that, you know, why can't we play HBCU schools in a postseason bowl game? What do you think about the potential of that happening? And what do you think that could go in the future? Is that something you think would be good for HBCUs?
Well, there are a couple of things. One, technically, it's impossible for it to happen because you have to get special legislation from the NCAA to even be able to participate in the bowl as an FCS institution. We have a special designation with the NCAA to be able to play the Celebration Bowl. But saying if they get an opportunity to go get the legislation changed, any bowl, in my opinion, that we can go participating in is a positive thing. There's nothing, in my opinion, that's going to top the Celebration Bowl. That is the Black College National Championship. I would be 100% against taking the Celebration Bowl away to go play an Ivy League school. I don't think that the Ivy League will bring anything to the table as it relates to what we're looking for. We have a unique game. We have a wonderful opportunity. We are the only FCS institution that's playing in a bowl game and outdrawing a lot of the bowl games. So you're going to start seeing a lot of FCS conferences say there is no money in the FCS playoffs. There's a lot of prestige in going to the FCS playoffs, but there is no money. There's money and prestige being the Celebration Bowl champion, the Black College National Champion. So I think we're going to have to continue to guard our brand. You go back to the 60s and the 70s, they saw what we did. They came and they took our brand from us, or, you know, and now we're struggling because of some of that. We're going to have to make sure that we hold on to our uniqueness and our brand, and we're going to have to protect it. And that's 110% what I plan to do. So I'm not opposed to it, but it would have to be in addition to, which means you don't get the number one team from the SWAC. You would have to get the number two or the number three team from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Number one team is going to play for that Black College National Championship.
And I agree with you because they see the revenue generated from the Celebration Bowl. And when I saw that, I was like, they just want to steal our thunder. Before we play y'all in the postseason game, we should play you all in the season, you know, to see how the game draws. I mean, we know the Ivy League has a fan base, but we're different over here. You know, we have football and the bands to draw our fans. So you know, it will be a win for them if we play them in the season because our fans travel.
Absolutely. I don't know how much they would travel to go see us play Princeton or Yale, though. We do travel, but that's going to be a tough sell.
Yes, indeed. Now, I was watching the SWAC MEAC Challenge. MEAC SWAC Challenge. I'm going to call it SWAC MEAC Challenge. That's why I always call it, so they change it around.
You said it right the first time. No, you said it right the first time. It's the SWAC MEAC Challenge.
And I noticed, you know, you and Dr. Thomas, you know, have a unique friendship or developing friendship. Talk to us about your relationship with him and working with the MEAC to both improve our HBCU experience in football and other sports.
Absolutely. And I go back to what you said. All of the paraphernalia and all of the media that they put out, it stars MEAC SWAC. But you said it right. It's the SWAC MEAC Challenge, although they might not print it. That's what it is, and that's what we're going to call it, at least on our side, is the SWAC MEAC Challenge, right? Dennis Thomas is a dean when it comes to the Southwestern Athletic Conference as well as the MEAC. You know, Dennis Thomas is an Alcorn State graduate. I knew him originally from my father. He was in the era with my father at Alcorn State. All while I was at Prairie View and at Texas Southern University, he was a leader and still is within the NCAA. He's been on some of the highest councils, some of the most prestigious positions within the NCAA of influence. So Dennis Thomas has a lot of knowledge. And as I sat down with him at the SWAC MEAC Challenge, as I'm going to call it, he gave me pointers, and I'm going to go up there and visit him because, you know, in my opinion, I'm not omnipotent. I don't know it all, and I don't profess to know it all. And I need help. I need guidance. Who better to do that than Dennis Thomas? Now, you could say that we are competitors, which we are, but there's only 2 Black Division I college conferences, and we have to work together. So we even talked about the SWAC moving our fall meetings to Atlanta so we could both meet joint, the MEAC and the SWAC. And that's the only way we're going to get there. We got to play more football games against each other. We got to play more basketball games against each other. And we have to join together to be able to get some of the change that we need through the NCAA, through television. Because if you put both of us together, you know, that's a strong commodity and a real viable product. So Dennis Thomas is a leader. He's smart. And we're gonna draw upon his knowledge to be able to help get SWAC where we want SWAC to go. There are a lot of things that the MEAC is doing that we can steal. There's a lot of things that the SWAC is doing that the MEAC can steal from us. So we just need to join it together. You know, we do cross over some, but it's not a lot. They're far enough east and we're far enough west to where, you know, we don't do a lot of crossovers for sponsors and players and things of that nature. So we can join together, and in my opinion, that's really the only way that both of us are going to achieve what we're trying to achieve.
I agree with you. And some of the other questions, you know, like you said, you've been on the job too soon to ask. Hopefully, you know, in the future, you'll come back on again when have your been in the position a little on, you have more input on those questions, or you can talk to us about more things, because with you being so new, it's like your brand new baby coming. You want to play everything. You have these toys there, and it's like you have so much that you have to take on. And
well, I think that's a good analysis. I had to tell myself 3 or 4 times last week in just those first 4 days to say, you know, you're only on day 2. You're only on day 3. You're only on day 4. You can only take certain bites of the apple. You can't do it all in day 1. So what I've started to do is make a list. I mean, as things pop up, I put it on the list so I don't forget it. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too small. We're going to put it on the list. And when we put it on the list, we're going to address it. And my father taught me that. That was his first bit of advice that he gave me when I became athletics director at Prairie View. And I was 29 years old. I was the youngest athletics director in the nation. I would argue, I haven't done my research, but I have to be one of the youngest commissioners. I'll meet with them in December, but I'm pretty sure I'm one of the youngest commissioners that's currently in Division I right now. But the one thing that my father told me as a young athletics director, and I'm going to take that same advisement as a young commissioner, is you cannot sweep the problem under the rug. The only thing that's going to happen is that the rug is going to get bigger, but you're going to have to deal with that problem, no matter how big, no matter how small. So we're going to use that same thought process, same mentality. No matter how big, how small, we're going to address it. And you know we're going to address it. And once we address it, we're going to resolve it, and we're going to move on to the next.
But you know what? If you had to run for SWAC commissioner, you would get my vote hands down. And I appreciate that. I don't regret either.
Mine too.
Well, I appreciate both of you.
So we're going to let you go, Dr. McClelland. But like I tell all our guests, now that you have been a guest on Black College Experience, you're now family. Of course, we're going to invite you on when we want you to come on, but anytime you want to come on and talk about what your thoughts are about the SWAC, or if you want to address something that's going on with the conference and any sports, if you just want to just talk as a fan, you can give us a call any Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll be a welcome visitor on the Black College experience.
Sounds good. I appreciate that, and I will give you the same reciprocal response. No matter how good or bad the situation is, I will be more than welcome and happy to come on your show and address it. I'm an open book. There's no topic too hard, too strong, or too controversial for me to talk to. I might not be able to give you all the information you want, but we can definitely address it. So I'm going to be an open book to you. I'm going to be an open book to media, and I think that's the only way that the conference office should be.
Right. It's funny you say that. I mean, when you have someone who is a leader of what you're the leader of, transparency helps you.
Right.
It helps
absolutely
what your goals are,
right?
What your end game is. And I noticed that about you when you first got the job, when you were first named. You went on so many shows, and I was like, this was before I knew you were a Callaway grad now. And I was like, I've never seen a commissioner do that. And when I read that you were a Callaway grad, I was like, I was even prouder that you were named the SWAC commissioner. So,
right.
We want to thank you for joining us.
Appreciate that.
And we will definitely be in touch with you as you continue to grow our conference. I can't wait. I'm trying to convince my daughter now, even though she has a long way to go a SWAC institution. You got to go to I don't care where you go. You just got to go SWAC.
There you go. I agree.
All right, Dr. McClelland, have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Well, Kels, like I said, I think we made the right decision. Well, the president's council of director made the decision on hiring Dr. McClelland to be the SWAC commissioner.
He said something that I did not know. I did not realize until he broke down that whole NCAA thing and those, like how you can get those fractions. I didn't know that.
Right.
I did not know that. How he was saying how, like, he used the guy or the example of if you check off law in high school and how, I didn't realize that's how that worked.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back with Black College, before we get out of here, we have to talk about all of the action that occurred on the football field and HBCU football. We're going to review our picks from last week. Kels did great. I did not so great. And then we're going to pick our games for week 3. So we'll be right back with more Black College Experience in about 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience. And week 2 is in the books. And we had a lot of wins, a lot of losses, a lot of points scored. Not too many upsets. We do have some unhappy fans in Memphis because the Southern Heritage Classic was canceled due to weather. So I think it was the right decision to make because you don't want to have a football game if you're going to put your student athletes in jeopardy. And, unfortunately, the game will not be able to be rescheduled due to scheduling conflicts. So, but the committee that puts together and plans for Southern Heritage is already planning for next year. And get ready to head up the road next year. Hell, week 2. What do you think about the results from week 2?
I think I was 12-2. I think I missed 2 games. Let's visit this Ottawa against Langston. For everyone that does not know, Langston was undefeated last year. They did win the championship for their actual conference. They were an undefeated team. Coming into this week 3, we'll say, of football, they travel to Baton Rouge this weekend to play in the Pete Richardson Classic against my Southern University Jaguars. So they did. They put up, I think, 63 points to Ottawa, I think maybe 56. So they did. They got away with it, but that's a intense game playing. Let's see. Also in this week too, what was my other prediction that was wrong?
You picked. We both picked Howard. Me, you, and PP.
Over
pick Howard.
Well, coming out of this, if you look at what we have seen in the last couple of games, in last year, and looking at the first game of what Kalen Newton is capable of, the yardage and the touchdowns and the completions, touchdown passes, it's easy to think, and then you can look back as to where they beat UNLV last year. So it's almost like, okay, well, if they can beat them, you can beat Kent State. But in this case, I was wrong. You were wrong. Patrick was wrong. So I'll just take my two wrongs for the week.
Well, and to give kudos to our co-champions, we need to congratulate Carlos Brown on the Carlos Brown Show and Manny Muhammad, former Jackson State University Tiger. They went 13-1. The game, let me put this up here. Manny's only loss, he picked Virginia Union to beat Carson Newman. And Carlos, where was his only loss? He picked Johnson C. Smith to beat Benedict. So congratulations to our co-champions, Carlos Brown and Manny Muhammad. I went 8-6. PP, I think you went. I have this pulled up here. You went 10-4. Mo went 10-4. DJ went 12-2. Keith Denton went 11-4, and Avery Jack tied with Kels and BJ at 12-2. So I did do better. I won 4 games last week, 8 games this week. But one game that me and PP picked, and you picked against us, was the Grambling versus Northwestern State game. I did not expect Grambling to lose like that.
Wow.
And in the Prairie View Sam Houston State game, which me and PP also picked, and you picked Sam Houston State going against your HBCU roots, Prairie View made it a game late. They lost, I think, by 11 points. So Prairie View is competing. It's good to see them doing well, coming from where they came from, where Dr. McClelland took over in his after the third year of them building up to what they are now, and under Coach Dooley. It's just good to see them be successful. But we're going to run down the rest of the games in the SWAC. All right. So Auburn beats up on Alabama State 6-9. Your Jazz took on the chin to La Tech 54-17. Texas Southern Kills only lost by 16 points to Texas State. I mean, that's for more victory. I mean, Texas Southern hasn't really done much lately under Haywood, but Texas State's not a powerhouse, but they are an FBS school. And of course, Grambling, offensive issues, losing 34-7 to Northwestern State. They also had defensive issues. They gave up 4 touchdowns through the air. Grambling's strength was supposed to be their defense, and they haven't been able to stop anybody. And of course, Prairie View loses to Sam Houston State 41-32. PP, we lost to Jacksonville State 7-1 zip. Alabama A&M fell to University of North Alabama 25-20. Alcorn beats up on a Division III Louisiana school 78-0. That's good for the Braves' confidence, but they play their first conference game this week. Arkansas Pine Bluff beats up on Cumberland 55-0. And of course, I told you the Southern Heritage Classic was canceled. All right, jumping over to the MEAC. Money game, UCF beats up on South Carolina State 38-0. Miami gets their first win after being embarrassed by LSU beats up on Savannah State 77-0. St. Francis, Pennsylvania blows out Delaware State 45-14. And of course, the game we all lost, Kent State beats up on Howard 54-14. Akron beats up on Morgan State 41-7. Bethune-Cookman defeats Virginia University of Lynchburg 79-16. NCCU defeats St. Aug 51-14. James Madison blanks Norfolk 17-0. The buzzsaw of the MEAC, North Carolina A&T, beats up on Garner-Webb 45-6. And in a Monday game, FAMU loses to Troy 59-7. Hell, an amazing end to week 3. Jumping over to the CIAA. Talk about those games. Virginia State loses to Robert Morris 22-19. Bowie State defeats Alderson Brodus 38-31. We picked that game. All of us got that right because I've never heard of Alderson Brodus before. Shaw defeats Mars Hills 27-9. Carson Newman defeats Virginia Union 33-29. Livingston shuts out Allen 19-0. Benedict beats up on Johnson C. Smith 42-14. Chaos. My frat brother, he asked you about Johnson C. Smith. That's his school, right?
What school?
Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he was inquiring about Johnson C. Smith, and they didn't do well that game. Western State loses to Catawba 34-7. And we talked about NCCU beating St. Aug. Wingate beats up on Fayetteville State 27-13. And Cowan loses to Davidson 49-28. We finish off our scores in the SEAC. Tuskegee blanks Albany State 20-0. Center State gets their first win, shutting out Clark 7-0. Morehouse kills 2-0 in the year. They blow out Lane 42-20. McKendree defeats Kentucky State 30-17. Benedict, of course, we talked about that already, beating up on Johnson C. Smith. And Valdosta State blows out Fort Valley 55-6. So now we're on to our week 3 games. So, Kels, first game we're going to pick, we're going to start out in the SWAC. Langston at Southern.
Okay. So Langston at Southern, again, I just gave the background on Langston being a undefeated team coming off of a very powerful game on yesterday. Still don't think they're going to have what it takes to execute and finish the Jaguars at Southern University. Of course, I'm going to be biased here. So, of course, I'm going to take my Southern University Jaguars. This is a inaugural game, and this is our first home game. We came off 2 butt whoopings of money games, so we're going to take the Southern Jaguars here.
All right, CP, your pick.
Yeah. I think it's going to be it's going to be similar. It's going to be similar to I was hearing some background on.
Yeah, I muted it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think Langston's gonna. This is like similar to Tuskegee playing Alabama State. They're gonna play up to Southern, but I think Southern is going to. It's gonna be closer than I think most people think, but Southern gonna win.
All right, I'm also gonna go this week. Southern is going to win the first annual Pete Richardson Classic. Up next, Texas Southern versus Alcorn. Hills, who's your pick?
I definitely take Alcorn in this game.
CP?
Yeah, I think Noah's he's one of the better quarterbacks in the SWAC, so I think I'm gonna just go with Alcorn.
And I'm gonna roll with the sweep. Alcorn will defeat Texas Southern. All right, UAPB versus the SC State Jackrabbits. Hell.
Versus the who?
The Jackrabbits or SB State.
I don't even
South
know.
Dakota. South Dakota.
South Dakota State.
Oh, yeah, South Dakota. I'm like, yeah, South Dakota.
PP?
Yeah, I think they ranked.
Too?
Yeah, I think they're ranked, so yeah, it's not gonna be pretty that game.
All right. Alabama State versus Kennesaw. Yes.
They're headed down here to Atlanta, so I'm going to go ahead and take Kennesaw State here.
All right. PP?
Yeah, I'm going with Kennesaw.
No, well, I'm tired of getting loose. I'm going with Kennesaw too. All right, jumping over to the MEAC. North Carolina Central versus South Carolina State University. Kels?
North Carolina Central.
All right. P?
I hate that, pick against Buddy. This is farewell tour, but I'm gonna go with NC Central.
Yeah, South Carolina State. This is Buddy's last year, so North Carolina Central put up a fight against Prairie View. So I want to pick South Carolina State, but I just think the Central is too strong. All right, Jackson State versus FAMU. Yes.
Can't go against Simmons, so I'm definitely going to pick FAMU this week.
PP?
Oh man, I want to see the air raid against an actual team that they could possibly beat, but FAMU, I'm gonna go with them.
You know what? I'm gonna roll with my hometown. I'm hoping Coach Hughes can get it together and defeat FAMU. All right. Morgan State versus University of Albany.
Morgan State versus who?
University of Albany in New York.
Yeah, I'm going to say University of Albany in New York.
PP?
Yeah, I'm going with you, Albany.
And I'm going to roll with Albany, too. All right, jumping over to SWAC. University of West Georgia versus Albany State.
University of West Georgia.
Okay, PP?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did they win the D2 national championship? I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm going with them. West Georgia.
All these sweeps. Morehouse versus Central. Else?
I'm going to go with fast, hard, and smart Morehouse. Morehouse is going for 3-0 this weekend.
Yeah. But, Central's already taken out one school. What do y'all call that academic area with Morehouse, Spelman, CAU? What do they call that?
The AUC.
The AU what?
The AUC.
AUC. Central's trying to go 2-0 against AUC, so they already beat CAU. People, who you picking, Morehouse or Central?
Well, Central lost last week, though. So Central's already down one game. Central lost last week.
But they beat CAU.
Okay, but Morehouse is undefeated at this point. Central is down by one game.
Okay. Well, people, who you picking?
Yes, I did. I know I did pick Central one time, and they came through, but then Morehouse, they came through against UAPB, so I'm just going to go with Morehouse.
I'm going to pick Central to go 2-0 against the AUC. All right, last game in the SWAC, Tuskegee versus Clark. I'm going to predict we all rolling with Tuskegee, right?
Yeah.
Wait, Tuskegee, who are they going against?
Clark.
Against who?
Clark.
Oh, yeah, Tuskegee, yeah.
All right. All right, in the CIAA.
Okay.
Winston-Salem State University versus Elizabeth City State University.
You said they're both in Elizabeth City?
Winston-Salem State versus Elizabeth City State.
Yeah, I'm going to take Winston-Salem.
All right, PP?
I'm going to go with Elizabeth City.
I'm gonna roll with WSSU. I know ECSU was in the SWAC championship, was in a CIAA championship game last year, but new season, Winston State wants their spot back. All right, Cowan versus Shaw. Chill.
Shaw is definitely is Chowan. Shaw is gonna win over Chowan.
That's my southern twang. You running with Chowan?
You know, forever to get to Bowie until you told me. So we're not on the same. But see, exactly.
That's because my favorite players up there.
You see, I'm the same way.
All right, who you running with, PP? Chowan or Shaw?
Oh man, I learned something new tonight. Shoot, Chowan. Because I've always pronounced it.
I'm gonna roll with Shaw. All right, last game in the CIAA, Benedict versus Fayetteville State. Yes.
Wait, who is it?
Benedict versus Fayetteville State.
Oh, I'm gonna take Benedict.
PP?
I'm always gonna go with Benedict until they run into Bowie.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Benedict too. That's a sweep. All right, I got 2 games. Schools, HBCU schools with not associated with HBCU conference. We have Hampton versus Tennessee State. Yeah.
Tennessee State. Rob Reed is going for this 51st win here.
All right. PP, you rolled with Tennessee State too or Hampton?
Oh, I'm going with Tennessee State.
All right, that's going to be a sweep. Last one. Texas College versus Texas Wesleyan. I know y'all probably saying, why did Derek pick that game?
I don't even know who
trying to give everybody some coverage.
Okay, I'm going to just take Texas College.
PP?
Who was the school? The first school?
Texas College. That's the HBCU.
I'm going with Texas Wesleyan.
Okay, I'm going to roll with Texas College. PP is with Texas Wesleyan. And those are our picks for week 3. In our inbox, Mo, Manny, and Carlos to get their picks so we can face the big board. We do have a caller on the line. Area code 601 last 48118. You on with the Black College Experience before we get out of here. Who do we have? Caller, are you there? I guess he's not.
Hello?
All right. Yeah, caller. Are you there?
This is Sergeant Robinson.
Sarge?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. I actually had myself muted because I'm in the back room. Got some company. That's what I forgot.
Okay.
But
y'all know who this is, right? This is Sarge from Rick.
Yeah. Hey, Sarge.
Hey.
Man, what's going on? Thank you for calling in. You went to high school with the commissioner, right?
Yes, we're classmates.
Oh, so I know you're proud just like me. You know, you see a Callaway graduate.
Yeah, I told him years ago that figures don't happen to him.
What was that?
I said I told him years ago I figured that he was going to get the top spot eventually.
Yes, indeed. So, Sarge, we're glad that you decided to call in. Maybe you can call in more, man. I mean, I know you're a very highly opinionated person. So when we're talking about these games, we would definitely love to have your opinion on these outcomes of these games. So that's what we would like to have more of our SWAC family, MEAC family, CIAA and CA family participate via verbally or virtually. So I thank you for calling in, man. Thank you.
Okay, then.
All right. Kay, let's go ahead and close this out.
All right. Well, we thank everybody for joining us this week. Very, very, very great interview from Commissioner Dr. Charles McClelland. Very excited about what he's going to have going on what he's doing, working on as far as the SWAC for the conference as a whole. A lot of great ideas he has put on the table. We will be back here next week at the same time. Next week, this is something that we normally don't do. We've had guests from the MEAC, the SWAC, and the SEAC. Next week, we do have someone that is coming from the CIAA, and he is from St. Augustine. So he's St. Augustine Falcon, and he did play football for St. Augustine. So he's going to join us next week. Stay tuned and see who that is.
All right. So I would like to wish my mom in Jackson a good night and rest in heaven. My big sister Kiwana, Bubba loves you. We out of here. See you next week.
Shutterstock Music.